And then also during that call, I also asked about the utensils that they gave me, because one day they just like showed up on my outside my door after like a week of getting disposable chopsticks. And then I was like, how do I wash these? And I noticed I wasn't getting disposable chopsticks anymore. And the lady was like, oh yeah, you can keep that after, you know, you check out. And I was like, oh, how do I wash it? And then she was like, oh, it didn't come with dishwashing soap. And I was like, no, it just came in a little box. And she was like, oh, okay. So she like sent me up a little box of dishwashing detergent, and I was able to wash my utensils with that afterwards. And basically that phone call, I asked her a bunch of stuff because I didn't want to like keep calling the front desk. And the lady was like, oh, it's fine, people call all the time and there's like even crazier requests. And she was like, oh, is there anything else you need? And I was like, is there anything else that people usually ask? And she was like, oh, some people ask about like the laundry. And I was like, oh, I brought enough clothes, so it's fine. So I know they can't do your laundry for you, but maybe I heard there is a washing machine, so maybe like after your 14 days you can use it. I don't know. You can definitely ask. And then yeah, at the bottom of this paper it just says between midnight and 6 a.m. they disinfect the hallways with UV light. And oh, also it says here that when you check out, you're gonna be given like plastic shoe covers. I didn't get that. I don't know. This is probably not updated. This is what I mean. Not all their communications, not everything is up to date, but I do know that there's a lot of different things like these paper forms, online forms, and like what they're training their people to say when you call them. So there's room for error. So I totally understand, especially, you know, during the whole pandemic and everything is constantly changing. So I totally understand. It's fine. There's these other papers. This one is just like explaining like what the process is. You have to measure your temperature, and then you know what to do and respond to the line messages that you get every day. And I can't really read Chinese, I can just guess, but I'm sure if you ask they have an English version. I just somehow ended up with the Chinese version, but it was fine. There was like a notice, fire equipment inspection, so it said like on what day and what time. And basically when that day came, I was like waiting for the fire alarm to go off. I just didn't want to like get scared, and it never went off. So I don't know if this actually happened, but I guess it was nice for the warning. But I was like pretty worried that day, and yeah, the time came and went and nothing happened, so whatever. Okay, and then the last thing is this like waiver. Okay, so this basically just explains like you have to pay the full room rate, and then what time the meals are again. And even if you don't eat it, you don't get a refund. You still are charged the full amount because the meals are included in the price. Also, speaking of the price, it is subsidized. On my door, it actually says the room rate is like 10,000 NT per night, like normally when there's not a pandemic. But obviously during the situation, the hotel itself is subsidized by the government. So the room rate for us was only 3,800. And then it also says that a thermometer is provided in your room. Make sure you take your temperature twice a day. Make sure you record your temperature. Here again, it says if you order delivery service yourself, send the meal to the front desk and make sure you tell the delivery service your name and room number. And then it says when the meal is delivered, the front desk will call you on the phone, and the front desk will deliver your meal during meal times. And then it even says here, delivery services will not be provided at other times. So this is yet another different type of thing. It's saying that they will only deliver during meal times and not outside of meal times. When the other paper said during meal times it's 100 NT, and then outside of meal times it's 200, and then the lady on the phone said during meal times it's free and outside of meal times it's 100. So literally everybody is saying something different, and I feel like I just totally missed out, but whatever. It says please keep quiet at all times. Activities after 10 p.m. in the evening shall be with loud voice and do not disturb others. So actually, because I have to work on US time during the night, and sometimes when I have meetings I'm like speaking at a normal voice, and I didn't want to bother the neighbors around me. So I don't know if I didn't hear anything because the walls are soundproof, but I don't think so, because once in a while I'll hear someone like taking a shower. So I feel like when I was talking, I don't know if I had bothered anyone. And I even called the front desk and told them like, hey, I do have to take meetings at night. Is there any way, like, am I disturbing anyone? And the front desk was like, oh, we haven't heard any complaints, so I guess it was fine. And yeah, no smoking, and please check out before noon. And then, they'll just make sure everything is good before you check out. So speaking of that, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I can look out of my peephole, and sometimes at like 11:59, I'll hear people like shuffling around and opening doors. And if I look outside, there are people literally moving their stuff out and leaving their room at exactly midnight on their last day. And I see like them taking all their luggages and everything, and they just like peace out. I'm assuming they live like in Taipei and somebody can come pick them up, or they took a taxi home. But I had to go to the southern part of Taiwan, so it didn't make sense for me to leave at midnight. I just had to wait for the next day to get on the train. And even the day that I went out at midnight, if you didn't see that video of me going out at midnight, make sure to check out that video. You can actually see when I get into the lobby, there's actually a guy checking out. That guy, we literally saw each other in the elevator. Like, it was like 12:01. It was so funny, and it was like so obvious that we both just like needed to get out after 14 days. And so that guy ended up just checking out and leaving, and I just like went out and went to 7-Eleven and stuff. So make sure you check out that video. That was a really interesting and fun experience. So last but not least, obviously, is the checkout process. So when I did go out that last night at midnight, obviously I didn't have a room key, so I actually left my door open, and I put like the deadbolt and I just left it open. I'm probably not supposed to do that, and later I thought about it. They probably have like a security system that shows that your room door was left open, but anyways, nobody said anything and nobody like contacted me, so whatever. So before I left, the lady told me that I can always just like ask for a room key when I come back, because the one that's provided in the room is like the one where you put in like the key card slot for the power, so it's like for the lights and the AC and everything. But the lady told me that was like a one-time use only, for you to like get in once, and then once you go out you can't use it. So she was like, oh, make sure you just get a card when you come back from whatever after midnight, and then they'll just let you up. And so I after I came back, if you saw in the video, I actually go in the elevator, and I was like so excited to press the elevator button myself, because we weren't allowed to touch anything when we first got here. They had to like push all the buttons for us and everything, and I pushed it and nothing happened, and I was like, oh, that's because I don't have a room key. And so I had to go back out to the lobby and be like, hey, I don't have a room key, could you like, you know, help me? And she was like, oh, that's funny. So she came in and she just like badged her key and then pressed, and I was able to press the floor that way. So I actually didn't end up getting a room key, because when I got up to the room, I left my door open with the deadbolt. So I just went in and then packed up all my stuff. And then the next morning when I left, if you see my last video where I'm leaving the room and I'm saying like bye, and then literally the door closes, and I literally stood there and I was like, oh my god, the door is closed and I don't have the key. I don't have any way of getting in. But luckily I had moved all my luggages out already, and I was like, is there anything else I left, like my toothbrush or my shoes or whatever? And I was like, all right, whatever, I have to go anyway. So I was running late for breakfast with my friends, and so I literally just left, and hopefully I didn't leave anything in there. Okay, so then when I checked out, basically they just give you a receipt. And also I forgot to mention, when I first booked the hotel, in the Google form that they email you, you have to fill out your credit card information. And so I just put in I just auto-filled the credit card that I always use back home, but then I forgot that one has an international fee. So then I called maybe on like day 5 to the front desk, and I was like, oh, I totally forgot. Can I like pay you in cash or like with a different credit card? And they're like, oh, different credit card is fine. So then I basically went in and I changed my credit card to the one that doesn't have an international fee, and then they refunded me. But because there's like a international charge as well as the exchange rate, the amount that I got refunded was less than what they originally charged me. So I actually have to go back and call my credit card company to make sure that they adjust that, because it's like a couple dollars off. But that's good to know that you can still change your credit card after you check in, because I totally forgot. Also, when I checked out, I asked about the Marriott rewards, and I was like, oh, can I get like hotel points since I stayed here for like 15 nights? And the lady was like, oh, you can, but then they would have to charge you at a different rate, which is like a higher rate. And I was like, oh, forget it. This is obviously subsidized by the government, and I just needed to get out of there. So I was like, okay, whatever. If you do want to get Marriott points, I think you can. I don't think it's worth it though, but you can definitely ask. And yeah, after that, I just called the taxi and I went into the city, and the rest is history. So thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's kind of like, if you made it this far, it's kind of like very detailed and my personal experience, especially about the whole food situation. But if you know anyone who's coming to Taiwan that is primarily an English speaker and wants to book this hotel, I would actually highly recommend it. It's very comfortable Western style. Everyone speaks English. The only thing is the window that I explained to you earlier, but that's literally the only complaint that I have about this hotel. And everything else was perfect. So make sure you check out the Marriott Aloft in Beitou. I do have quite a few friends who are staying there. I don't know why they chose it. I didn't ask. I just know that they're staying there. And I know other people are staying there as well. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like this video and share this playlist with anyone who you know is coming to Taiwan soon. And just make sure to stay safe and stay healthy. If you haven't already, make sure to follow me on Instagram and subscribe. There are a lot of exciting things coming up for my channel. I am so excited to be starting a new series now that I'm outside of quarantine. And please, if you have anything that you want to see here in Taiwan, make sure to leave it in the comments below, because I know there are a ton of you guys out there that would love to come to Taiwan right now, but just aren't able to at this time. So please let me know what you would like to see, and I would love to share that with you. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!